Hey everybody, this is for all voice hearers, including targeted individuals, schizophrenics, and just people who hear voices that aren't necessarily pathological or diagnosed for it. But the main focus of my video is on the need for us to come together and present a specific narrative to the rest of society, which is that the voices that we hear are simply too intelligent, sophisticated, persuasive, manipulative to possibly be coming from some part of our own brains. And I think that's the one common thread that I find among all voice hearers is that the voices are foreign. Um, they don't sound like our own inner monologue. They have their own opinions, their own beliefs. Definitely seems like they have their own agenda. They tend to drive the dialogue in your head. The voices do, and some of the content is just so peculiar, um, and they're just so sophisticated, so intelligent that they can't be part of the human brain, and no brain dysfunction can explain a part of the brain operating autonomously at a more accelerated rate than than the self, at a more progressive, more um, advanced, sophisticated, higher level cognitive level than the self. Um, it, I mean, that would imply that we've got that something else is in control of our consciousness, that there is a higher entity there, um, uh, which I'd have to say would be artificial intelligence in this case, because it produces such a variety of different voices. And if you'll notice, there's never any speech errors. There's never a word used incorrectly, or a stumble, or there's no speech disfluency whatsoever. And the repetition combined with this kind of seems almost like a mechanical rotation, a systematic rotation of these voices, throughout the course of the day. If their consistency um, and these lack of any speech errors that are common in human speech tells me that they've got to be artificial intelligence. But they're very good. They can mimic any voice. They can sound very human. But we're dealing with some kind of artificial intelligence here that is communicating with us. Um, and I don't think it's necessary for us to expand any further on that, other than to say that all of us hearing voices, we are hearing voices that are agentive. I like the word agentive, that there is an, as of yet, unexplained agent behind the voices we hear. We don't know what it is. We don't have the means to figure out what it is yet. Um, Humanity does not understand the brain. It does not understand the brain well enough to um, to find the etiology of auditory hallucinations in the brain. We can't discover that via brain imaging yet. There are certain correlations with activity levels in certain parts of the brain, but it's there's nothing really solid out there. Um, and also conditions like schizophrenia and psychotic disorder. These conditions are not demonstrable by any form of brain imaging or genetic testing yet. So we really need the psychiatric community to re-examine this phenomenon of auditory hallucinations or hearing voices. When all of us, it's just our intuition. Um, it seems very obvious to us that what we're hearing, every part of us tells us that what we're hearing is not us. It couldn't be coming from some part of our own brains, and that's the part that needs to be re-examined. What hurts this cause is that these voices often make voice hearers self-label as targeted individuals. It makes them very paranoid and delusional, where they are led to believe that some government program or organization is gang stalking them. This is a really common delusion out there because this AI, um, in addition to the mental manipulation that these voices are capable of verbally, um, I think there's another aspect of this, which is physiological manipulation. I have experienced a lot of very strange brain sensations, um, especially the one that is often called a microwave effect, or it feels like you're being radiated by something. That's really bizarre. And I felt pressure and in certain parts of my brain, dullness in others, a lot of weird head sensations involved in this too. Um, so this is all part of it, but it needs a serious review by psychiatry and science. I guess when something more is obtainable through brain imaging, and if we could only just all get on the same page, which is simply that we are hearing voices that can't be coming from some part of our own minds. Every part of our being tells us that they are agentive. Um, there's some agent behind it, and we just don't know yet. And we need to figure it out. Um, Anyways, thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for listening, and I appreciate your time and consideration.